Well, hey, what's up? Pastor Matt here. Catching me on kind of a busy day, I have to admit, but that got me thinking about the question, what do pastors actually do? Probably a question that you've pondered from time to time. So let me try to answer that. I'll give you my schedule for today. Now, you probably already know that pastors get up early on Sundays. They open up the church building, preach the sermon, go home. But then what? Well, today is Wednesday, April 11th, 2018, and I'm just going to give you my schedule so you know what a day in the life of the average pastor looks like. Woke up at 5:10. That's when my alarm goes off. Got to get my kids up to school. I got one in high school, one in middle school, and one in elementary school. So I'm to the breakfast table personally myself by about 5:30 in the morning, have my coffee, read 4 chapters of the Bible every single day without fail, 365 days a year. I'm reading through the scriptures. So my day starts off with the Bible, get showered, get dressed, get myself all suited up, ready to go to whatever meetings I have. But before we leave, I do a little bit of Hebrew studies. I'm taking some extra Hebrew with a Hebrew scholar that I'm friends with. So I do a little Hebrew homework. And I get to the office about 7 o'clock. And I have 2 hours before my staff comes in, which is the best time for me to work on my sermons and messages. On Wednesday nights, we're preaching through the basic doctrines of the Christian faith. And on Sunday mornings, we're preaching through the book of 1 Corinthians. So a lot of writing, a lot of thinking, reading some scholarly commentaries, things like that. Then, at least today, I headed off to the hospitals. I had 2 hospitals that I wanted to visit. I got to the first one around 10 o'clock in the morning, got to the second one about 11. Visited 2 folks that had recently had surgery, and I delivered to them a little prayer guide that our denomination is using to pray for one of our missionaries who needs some extra prayer. And then I had a meeting at the school. Matter of fact, a pastor's meeting. A bunch of us from our county got together to meet with one of our school superintendents. And I got a chance to stand up and advocate for church counting as community service hours for our students in our church and in our community. So a little public theology there. I got to talk about the importance of the church in our local community, how it ought not to be neglected. Now today I came back to the office here. It's about, it's a little after 1 o'clock. I'll put in another hour, probably going to work on some editing. I'm doing a journal for our denomination, the Westminster Society Journal. A bunch of pastors writing essays and articles, and I'm the editor for that. So I'm going to be going back and forth with some other collaborators on that, and then I'll go pick up my daughter. I'll take about an hour's rest in the afternoon because then I got to be back for Bible study tonight, and I'm going to be teaching on part 2 of my lesson on total depravity as we work through the basic doctrines of the Christian faith. So that's a pretty long day for me. Get up at 5:30. I'll be home by probably 8:30 tonight. This is not an unusual day. It's not unordinarily busy, nor is it unordinarily light. It's just a fairly typical average day as a minister of the Word of God. But you see there's a little bit of everything. There's meetings, there's study, there's prayer, there's visitation of those who need visits, and then there's the public teaching and proclamation of the Word. And one thing that's unique about being a pastor is, if you remember getting homework assignments in high school or college, we have projects due every week, twice a week. In fact, we have to be prepared to teach, most of us, 2 or more times in any given week. So I'm preaching Wednesday nights and Sunday mornings. But then also there's the extras that come in. For instance, this week we have a youth retreat, and I'm going to talk about the existence of evil in the world to some of our upper level senior hires. So we're usually prepping 2 to 3 messages a week. Just think of those as work projects or school assignments. That keeps us in the books, but we also have to be out there with the folks, loving, praying with them, being with them, showing concern. Of course, I've made several walks over to the main administration area of our offices to collaborate with other staff on their projects, duties, and assignments. And add in all the email that comes in, all the text messages that filter through, and pretty much we're busy most of the day. Now, I will take an hour off this afternoon where I'll just kind of shut down for my own brain health and sanity. And I do try to take Mondays off to do absolutely nothing except for resting, some reading, and some prayer, and maybe some housework around the house. So my wife, keeping her good graces and all that. But that's fairly typical day in the life of a pastor. We work hard. Hope you realize that. A couple of book recommendations for you, real quick. I love to give book recs in my videos, and especially I post the links in the description. So a couple that have influenced me. Number one, Dr. Martin Lloyd-Jones on Preachers and Preaching is fantastic on the duty and burden of proclaiming the Word of God. John Piper's amazing book, Brothers, We Are Not Professionals, which distinguishes us from other business professionals. We're not entertainers. We're not community service organizers. We are not mid-level executives or managers for businesses. We are pastors. Our duties and calling are distinct. And finally, this is a really good one on Being a Pastor by Alistair Begg and Derek Prime. Wonderful books. I'll post a link to these in the description of the video. Hope that gives you a little insight into my life and perhaps your pastor's life as well. Please know that we do love you, and we love to serve our great and living God. And we're very thankful that we have the opportunity to live our lives and our calling out in this way as preachers, teachers, writers, thinkers, meeters, prayers, and lovers of Jesus. Hey, thanks for checking in. We'll talk to you next time. Pastor Matt checking out for today. Don't forget, like and subscribe if you want. No big deal if you don't. Talk to you later.